Hey guys, welcome back to the Jersey Comic Crew. And today's episode, we are breaking down all the theories and speculation after episode 7 of WandaVision. Come on inside to Westview.
Hi guys, Robert Chris here from the Jersey Comic Crew, and today we are talking theories and speculations for WandaVision episode 8 and the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The first point we wanted to talk about is Monica Rambeau. So here's your spoiler warning, because we're going to talk about theories, so we're going to spoil what happened in episode 7 and previous in WandaVision.
And just in case we are correct.
Just in case we were correct, is also. So Monica, we know in episode 7, got her powers. Well, we believe got her full powers, right? And we know Monica in the comics becomes a superhero called Photon. So we want to address real quick her powers set, what exactly it does, what could be the future of this character, and specifically in this season and show, and also the unknown of Monica's contact, the aerospace engineer. So personally for me, I think the quote-unquote aerospace engineer reveal, like everybody's thinking it might be Reed Richards, it might be somebody, I think it was that doctor that we saw, right? I think it was the previous doctor that, works with her and helps her, got her the suit, got her the big truck, because the aerospace engineer she wanted to meet was going to make the truck. She's the one who made the truck, so I don't think we're going to see anybody big on that end. But I do think because she does have the powers, I think it's going to come into a clash where Monica's probably going to have to team up with Vision to combat something that Agatha creates. And maybe Agatha just controls Wanda and Wanda loses it, and Vision and Monica are going to have to team up to kind of like calm Wanda down and try to defuse her, while Agatha is working her evil, mysterious plan in the corner. And we'll talk a little bit about Agatha's plan in a minute.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. I like that Agatha's kind of like possibly the big bad, which obviously we'll talk about later. But for Monica by herself, this is definitely the origin of powers. I agree with you 100% with the act of her and Vision will probably have to team up and stop probably Agatha Harkness with a mind-controlled Wanda and whoever else may be in the background. And as far as the aerospace engineer, I'm still on the fence.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's her contact that we just met as far as like the Army Rangers or like, whatever is the defectors of S.W.O.R.D. I still think it's a possibility if she turns into a Skrull and is a Skrull, then maybe that's the big reveal and that's the aerospace engineer. I'm still
That'd be interesting, and that's the Skrull from what's that show and movie?
Oh, Captain Marvel?
Yes.
Yeah, that could be like the kid Skrulls that she was hanging out with, playing Uno with.
Maybe.
I think that's a possibility. I still can't close the door on Reed Richards, though.
I know it's so hard to close that door. Like, one, you don't want to, and two, like the theory still has weight to it, right? There's still merit to that theory.
And the weight actually grew in this episode for me, because not only was, again, a spacesuit, even though it was made to look like Photon or Captain Marvel Monica Rambeau's suit, it also had very, very huge Fantastic Four applications on it. That circle crest on the front of it, that rover looked, again, something out of Reed Richards' mind as far as a Fantasticar that the Fantastic Four uses to drive around or fly around. And on top of that, the trope that we've all been kind of like wondering is who plays Reed Richards, right? Everyone kind of thinks it's John Krasinski.
Or Hope. I think Hopes is a better word for that, but yes.
They hope, and all we know is that John Krasinski had a COVID Zoom-style meeting with Marvel, and that was it. But also, this episode took a lot of tropes out of The Office. A lot of tropes out of The Office, and that's what made that guy's career, right? Jim Halpert's career. He was Jim Halpert forever.
Acting. He was going to quit acting, and then he got the Office job. Like, he was going to go home to his mom, and then he got the Office gig.
And become like an insurance salesman or something.
Yeah, and he's like, I got the break.
Yeah, and now he's doing like Jack Ryan on Amazon. He's doing Quiet Place. He directed that, and his wife, Emily Blunt, was in it. So I can't close the book when you give me The Office, which is what this guy's entire career was built on, as like a possible hint, wink, wink, he's coming. And on top of that, you have the suit, the spacesuit. We all know the Fantastic Four's origin, right? They go into space, space storm. Could that also been a kind of hint too, where Monica goes into this almost like a storm barrier and it pops her out, and then she goes through it, gets her powers? Is that also that's a Fantastic Four-ish hint to me? So I can't close the book fully on it. I still don't know who this aerospace engineer is. I don't have a full 100% guess, but I can't close the door on Reed Richards or Skrulls as well.
So next thing I wanted to talk about is Hayward and the Cataracts protocol, right? There's things like, is this connected to something bigger? Cataracts, they want to take Vision, bring him back, right? Could Hayward be Ultron, Chris?
Yes.
So, come on, let me say my thing first.
You asked the question. I
first say, what do you mean, Rob? And then let me explain it. Then you agree with me. That's how we do these things. So go ahead, try it again.
Yes.
Damn!
Yes, Rob.
So the reason I'm saying that, right? So eventually Ultron in the comics, like, fuses with Hank Pym. It becomes like this new kind of Ultron. He's half human, half robot. And then there have been various stories and storylines where, like, he could change his full appearance to look human and vice versa, right? So what if the Cataracts protocol is Ultron and he's still embedded in Hayward and he's like, I want my vessel Vision back. I want to create this to, like, maybe integrate with me to become better and stronger, or to create a new host for me to go into. There could be that angle. I mean, it could be the more grounded approach that a government agency wants to take a weapon, make a super weapon to quote-unquote protect the world, but use it for their own deeds. Like, there could be that on the surface, and I'm still fine with that if it is. But it's still so much more fun to theorize and think, oh, what if Hayward's Ultron? And it comes back, and he's like super Ultron, like half-used robot man and human cyborg. That'll be so much fun to view and watch.
I'm almost 100% sure on this one that Hayward is Ultron.
Oh, see, I'm not. I think I'm more on the line where thinking like he's just a crazy guy and he wants to use Vision for bad. But you're
I think
on
he actually is Ultron.
That's your default position.
Yes.
Not your fun position. That's the default.
No, that's the default.
So
like
why,
no custom upgrades.
No cap. Like,
that's
so
that's
why is it your default?
Yeah, many reasons. Number one, when we, again, going back to episode 4, when we get introduced to Monica Rambeau, they're walking through the aerospace program. His main line is, we are focusing on AI and artificial intelligence now. We're away from this. Number 2, the fact that when he had Vision, he was kind of breaking him apart, trying to figure out to make him a sentient weapon. A lot of people are speculating like Sentinels from X-Men. I don't think that's going to be a direct bridge to that. I don't even know if they're going to go the Sentinel route because it's been done so many times. That's another hint.
Well, they could also use that to build the Sentinels, right? That could be the whole thing. Like, eventually,
maybe
the technology they get from that builds.
Maybe.
Sentinels.
I just don't know if they're going to go Sentinels again. It's been done to death. And the other side is, in Age of Ultron, Ultron was literally in the process of transferring himself into Vision, right? Vision was like the perfect host body. He's made of vibranium. He has the Mind Stone in his head. He's beyond the norms of the artificial intelligent. That is something that seems to be Hayward's plan. Mm-hmm. He's tracking Vision. Why isn't he tracking Wanda when the Hex is Wanda? When Wanda put all the guns on him, when basically she's the
maybe he doesn't have the means
show.
to. Like, in Vision, they put tech in him while they're breaking him down. You know what I mean?
But Vision's dead. Vision's not alive.
Yeah. Why would they put something in him?
But they're tracking Vision hardcore of where he is at all times. Hayward, to me, isn't trying to attack Wanda to destroy the Hex and get the people out of there. He's trying to get Vision back. That's his overall goal. His overall goal isn't protecting these people that are brainwashed and in pain. His goal right now is to get his asset back, and that asset is Vision. And then, on top of that, he has this plan he mentioned, right? We're going to light it up today. We're going to fire today. We're going to act today.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I think he's tired of waiting. I think that's why that's very Ultron-like, right? Like, Ultron doesn't wait. Think of Brainiac, right?
True.
Like, Brainiac calculates all his reasons immediately. Ultron's also a robot. Same kind of thing, right? He calculates everything immediately. And he's like, no, we're doing this.
And he's like, oh, we could do this.
We're just doing this. Why is he so keen on getting Monica out of the way? He doesn't want her to find out. Also, he was the first one away from the bubble when it expanded.
Yeah, he was.
Aren't usually directors and people trying to save, like, if you're a really good like person, you're trying to get those people out of there before you. I think if the Hex hits him, or if he goes into the Hex, or he gets dragged into the Hex, when he goes through, he's going to be revealed as Ultron.
Oh, interesting. So there's a lot of things at play here. Speaking of things at play, we got to talk about Agatha Harkness.
Oh,
right.
Yes.
The reveal was fantastic. The music, but now we need to
amazing.
think like what her plan is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is it like? So this is where like Marvel and WandaVision could go so many routes, and it's kind of like the great thing. Like you could keep theorizing because the powers and abilities of these people involved are limitless, and they could go in so many different angles, right? So like the obvious angle is like, all right, Ralph, her husband, right? They need the kids. They needed Wanda to make the kids. They needed Wanda's energy to make the kids, to power the spell to bring him into this world. Because downstairs in the basement kind of looks like portals, kind of looks like doorways. She's trying to get enough energy to open a doorway to let him in, right?
You mogway bodies out.
Little Jackie Chan adventures right there for you.
There you go.
So I think that's her overall plan is to bring him into this world. Yeah. I don't think there's anything else. Like I can't think of anything, right? Like she needs Wanda to go crazy, use Wanda's magic to make things in this realm possible and not possible at the same time, so that way she could do this. That's what I'm thinking.
I agree, Robin. I think you're onto kind of the overall plot of it, which I like. The aspect of now that Agatha's been revealed to be behind almost everything, I don't think Mephisto's the big bad anymore. I think Agatha's the big bad.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why? Because she's trying to bring him in, and that's why she's the big bad?
I don't think
she's like a henchman for him. You know what I mean?
Agreed, but I don't think Mephisto's here yet.
No, he's not. He's trying to get in.
I think Agatha needs the boys because, as we said in the comics, their souls are attached to pieces of the soul of Mephisto, and whatever spell she's using with the Darkhold, which we saw down there, and it was like glowing and stuff. I don't know if it just normally glows or if that's like, hey, the spell's almost done. He's almost ready to come in.
Maybe.
I don't know if that's part of it. I think
real quick before you fast forward to your thought.
Yeah.
You're going to break my mind.
Okay.
The Mephisto line, right? So everybody's saying there's going to be a cameo in here that's going to freak us out. I think it's going to be the Mephisto actor, and it's going to be a huge name character, like Hugh Jackman, right? Like Hugh Jackman's Mephisto, right? Like it's going to be something like crazy like that. You know what I mean? Like something like to that proportion. It's going to be this person, not necessarily.
I don't know how huge the actor's going to be, but we've gotten a bunch of interviews with Paul Bettany where he's been talking about WandaVision, and he says there's still a big reveal that we can't talk about that hasn't happened yet, and it's a big reveal and it's an actor that he's always wanted to work with, that he was very excited to work with.
Ewan McGregor.
That'd be amazing. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Hello there.
Sir Ian McKellen.
Oh, that'd be great. But also could still be Doctor Strange, right? Because no, really, like Benedict Cumberbatch, they've never shared a scene before. Even though they're kind of like half together, they're never in the same scene together.
Oh.
In Infinity War Endgame. So that was a minor theory, but I think it's whoever's playing Mephisto. But I basically think this is the last two episodes in a nutshell, which is Agnes is controlling Wanda. I think this episode, Monica's going to figure out Wanda is like her pain and suffering is taken up ninefold by Agatha Harkness. And Agatha, with the power of the Wundagore Everbloom, the flower that we talked about back in our breakdown episode. Make sure you go check that out if you didn't see it. And that flower is kind of heightening. Like, I don't think the flower's contents, the way it's in the comics, is going to translate into the show. I think it's going to be more
super power her up. Or like
I think it's going to be more of a controlled mechanism where she's like feeding her different things. Like we saw again, the tea, the food, here's a plant for the new house. Here are
like
these pills,
sucking her Wanda's energy into her kind of deal.
Yeah, like using it to drain Wanda of her energy and her massive power set, as well as make it seem
Wanda
like
created
Wanda's
the dog,
doing
and
all
she
this.
ate the dog. She's eating her energy, and she could like do more things like that.
Yeah, we don't know if she ate the dog. We know she killed the dog. I don't know if she ate the dog.
I don't know.
But on top of that, you have Billy and Tommy, who we know are technically real because they've kind of accounted for people when they were doing like the check and the IDs, and they've been asking like, are the kids real? It seems like they're real. Like everything in there gets changed into some form of reality. I think this is going to play into especially the commercial that we just saw for the Nexus. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Nexus in Marvel Comics is kind of the being portal to the multiverse. in the most
it's
basic
like
term.
the subway, like in Wreck-It Ralph, the internet connection hub before you get to each individual game, right?
It's the massive router that controls
Yes.
everything, right? And Wanda is one of those people in Marvel who is a Nexus. She
Mm-hmm.
bridges the gap between, not just for Avengers and X-Men and heroes, but her powers bridge the gap between multiverses and power sets
Correct.
and planes of existence and reality.
Yeah.
There are only two other characters I could think of that also have this type of like connection to that power. One is Doctor Strange,
Yeah.
and the other is Jean Grey
Yeah.
from X-Men. And that aspect of her being the Nexus is what obviously Agatha would need with whatever spell the Darkhold needs to get Mephisto into the universe and the souls of her kids, which are real manifestations of her pure power. So all those mixed together, I don't think Mephisto's going to be in the final fight in the episode. I think we're going to see him, and we won't see him again to maybe Loki. I think we're going to see him as the cliffhanging reveal at the end of the show.
That's fair.
And he's like, I'm here. And Multiverse of Madness will kick off with her and Strange having to fix what she just did by bringing hell on, literally bringing hell on Earth.
I could deal with that. I like that. I see here you have another note about another person. And I wanted to, because I have no idea what this theory is, or I kind of know who this person is, but not enough.
Yeah, so you mentioned at the end of the last episode, Rob, that, at that after cut scene where we see quote unquote Pietro show up and Snooper's gonna snoop thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you slow that scene down, it looks like as Monica's like snooping around Agatha's house and she finds the cellar doors where, I also think all those vines have to do with the flower too. The what is it called? The Wondagore.
The Wondagore.
And if you slow it down really slow, and I think we could show you right here, Pietro, like it looks like a shadow is inside the house, and then Pietro just shows up. I think
he's running so fast.
I think Senor Scratchy is Pietro, the rabbit, and here's why. In the comics, there's a character called Nicholas Scratch.
Oh, from Sabrina.
Yeah. Not the cat.
No, Nicholas Scratch is one of the warlocks in Sabrina that like she falls in love with.
Is he?
Yeah.
Same name?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Because in Marvel, Nicholas Scratch is Agatha Harkness' son.
Oh. and he's Mr. Scratchy? The bunny?
I think Mr. Scratch the bunny,
like
when he needs to, like kind of just, transforms like Harry Potter when the people transform into animals and stuff. Kind of like, and she's kind of made him into Pietro to like be really quick and super speed around. He also has, mystical powers. I think Agatha has her son, Mr. Scratchy, Senor Scratchy, is actually Nicholas Scratch, the son who could change into and out of this rabbit form.
Oh,
and
I like this.
In the kind of, when we peel it back a little bit, we see that, Pietro, raise hell, demon spawn, and blah, 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 blah. All those lines, we're thinking Mephisto. Could it just be Nicholas Scratch, like, being a quirky douche, kind of? Because his mom is this mystical witch, and they're trying to bring Mephisto into this plane. I don't think Mephisto's going to be the villain anymore. I think it's going to be Agatha, Nicholas Scratch, and a mind-controlled Wanda until they snap her out of it.
Would you have... So let's say Senor Scratchy is Nicholas Scratch, is Pietro. Now, Pietro's actor, Evan Peters, do you think that Evan Peters is going to be Nicholas Scratch, and it's just, like that face, and they did that like to play with us?
I think that's a major possibility.
Or it's like a different actor, and he picked that face for some reason.
It could be a different actor. I also have loved, I don't know if you've seen any of the stuff online where, like, people like Boss Logic, who's amazing, do these art depictions of what Evan Peters would look like as Mephisto.
No.
And it's phenomenal. It's absolutely awesome. I think Evan Peters would be a cool Mephisto, but I don't think it's going to be him. I think it's going to be someone older, because Mephisto is supposed to be in the Marvel version of the devil almost, right? Like an ancient being from another plane of existence built up by religious lore and everything else. I would assume you could go older actor. You wouldn't go younger actor, but again, hiding in plain sight, it might make sense. It's like an Evan Peters. But I think Nicholas Scratch could be a part of this. I think, if you slow it down. Also, there's that scene where Billy's asking at this point, Agnes, oh, you're so quiet. You know, you're quiet on the inside too. She has the rabbit in her hand, and she, like, if we freeze frame it, which I'm sure you can see right now, her hand almost does almost like she's gonna cast a mystical charm on the rabbit, as if Billy was finding her out too early.
Oh,
so that is very like,
that's interesting. Okay,
that was something I was like piecing together at the end, because I was like, there's no way this after credit scene doesn't mean anything, right? It was like, it was literally Snooper's gonna snoop, that's it. And I was like, no, there's
maybe
no
that
way
means
it's
Monica
that simple.
got captured. You know what I mean? But like,
I think she did. I think her powers are going to activate even more, and she's going to get out of it. But there's no way that after credit scene was just like, you know, the Avengers eating shawarma after the fight. You know what I mean? Like, I think it was a literal like, hey, if you slow it down, you can kind of see it almost looks like the shadow of a rabbit jump through, and then Pietro shows up.
That'd be insane. Wow, that's awesome. We got to do a quick shout out, right, Chris?
Yes. Quick shout out to my buddy Justin over at Resilient Customs. Definitely go check it out on Instagram. He does all these Marvel Legends sets. They're phenomenal looking. He rebuilds them. He clays. He mortars them. He builds sets. They're fantastic. Definitely go check him out, Resilient Customs. And we'll leave the description down in the section below. He's a very great help to me when it comes to like theorizing and getting all these massive theories. He's a huge Marvel fan. So thank you, Justin. And
Guys,
check out Resilient Customs.
That wraps up our discussion on the theories and speculation video for WandaVision. Thank you so much for tuning in. Comment down below your favorite theory that we talked about here, or maybe a theory that we haven't discussed that you think is really cool. Let us know.
And guys, thanks so much for watching. Give us a thumbs up, like. Make sure you subscribe. Turn on those notifications if you're brand new. You don't want to miss any more theories. We only got 2 episodes left of WandaVision, and then we have everything else. So we will be busy here for you guys. And as always, I'm Chris Heller. That is Rob Moran. We're the Jersey Com Crew, and we'll see you next time in Westview.